So we've had an update this morning from the Treasury Minister on what's happening with the support schemes, and to join us here is now Cannan to do this. I mean, is this something you had to think about very quickly to change what's going on? Because obviously we're coming out of lockdown. Has that been important to this information?
Yeah, absolutely. We have considered that we felt that there would be a need to offer some further support. It isn't just the case that we raise the lockdown restrictions and everybody can get back to work straight away. There can be valid reasons why individuals or businesses can't start immediately. So we've offered this added protection in terms of extending the MERA through till the 8th of February, last payment date the 14th of February, and the salary support, which will run for a further month.
But this is only for the people who literally cannot go back to work and have to prove that somehow, do they, to you?
Well, yeah, well, we'll be looking at applications carefully, but we'll be doing our usual audit process. But it does offer people a chance to get an extra week's earnings of MERA and that extra cushion of £200 for them and indeed for businesses. It can be days or some weeks before they actually get their cash flow back up to the position that they need. So the salary support will continue to protect jobs where they're potentially exposed.
Well, I suppose that's the important thing about this money. You're saying people need money to live on. How quickly does this get processed? How quickly do people get hold of these paychecks?
Well, they will have had their first MERA payments last week. There will be another run this week on MERA, so the money is flowing through now. The salary support will be paid in the first week of February, so businesses will be registering from the 30th of January, putting in their payment applications, and we will be paying those as quickly as possible. And of course, we've also had the Coronavirus Business Support Scheme running, whereby applicants have been able to obtain £1,500 to support their business, and that has paid out extremely quickly. Actually, it's paid out within a week for most applicants.
How did the appeal scheme go? If I presume there was an appeal scheme for people who weren't getting it, they felt they deserved it. Was that quickly looked at and dealt with?
I can tell you, actually, I've looked across the figures for business support and for MERA, and really the vast majority of applicants have successfully received their payments. There are some that are being looked at. There's no formal appeal process as such, but we do review these applications when they fall out of the system, and that people come back either with further evidence or are able to supply additional information regarding their application. So, but broadly speaking, that the very, very few in numbers. Most of the applications that we have received have in fact been successfully paid out. And
how much in total, because on the basis we are coming out of this lockdown on the 1st of February, how much money will it have cost the Treasury?
Well, we're estimating about 14 to 16 million pounds, and that includes the amount that we are currently forecast to pay with the additional, with the additions that we've announced today. So it has been quite significant, but that's broadly in line with what has been paid out last summer. So we can sort of see that these circuit breakers or these lockdowns are costing something around £15 million a month.
I think that was slightly high. I thought you were talking about 8 to 12 originally. So has it gone up at all?
Well, I think so. But I think once you take on both the circuit breaker first announcement, and then you incorporate this second extra couple of weeks, which has effectively been added onto the MERA and the extra support that's been incorporated. But you can see how that is sort of encapsulated just off a 21-day lockdown, because you can't just necessarily expect to raise the restrictions and then find automatically everybody's back to normal straight away. So I think I'm incorporating the whole amount as a reflection of the shortness of a lockdown, of a 1-month lockdown.
I mean, this is costly, whatever you think about it. It's a lot of money. Has there been a lot of debate in Coman about this 2-week isolation? Because obviously, clearly, it didn't work on this occasion. There was no test in place, maybe whatever, but we'll deal with that. But do you think we need to move up to be absolutely almost bomb-proof on having a 3-week isolation so you won't be put in this position again?
Well, there is a 3-week isolation for anybody who now doesn't take a test. So I think we need to see how the testing regime works. Bear in mind that was only brought in just before Christmas. We haven't really had a chance to see the success of that, and I think that we will be able to now have much greater understanding of the data that comes through from 1, 7 and 13-day tests. And as it stands, with the understanding that we have of the virus, with the information that's coming from public health, that testing regime now should bring in the added value that we need to the system to give us greater protection.
Any more lessons learned from this second one? I mean, if there's a third one to come, will you make any differences, changes?
Yeah, no, we'll have to review what we've done and how successful it's been in terms of the payments that have been made, the support that's been given. But I'm fairly confident again that we've made the right decisions, that actually the economy will bounce back quickly, and that everybody will soon return to levels of normality. And that's always the balance to get in these instances. I mean, first and foremost, people need cash, and they need cash quickly when you shut down an economy in the way that we've done that. I think our schemes have been incorporated to do that. And it is short and sharp, and it has been short and sharp, and it is painful for some people. But the plus side and the upside is that we open up, we get everybody back to normal, we remove social distancing, we remove restrictions, and I'm hoping that businesses in the high street will enjoy a buoyant February in terms of the level of expenditure that I'm hoping that we will now see almost as a bounce back from this lockdown. And we saw that last summer, and I'm hoping that we will again see that bounce back, and that people will actually find themselves recovering fairly quickly from the pain of the 21-day or 28-day circuit breaker.
And did you share the frustration of people who work literally by themselves? I mean, gardeners is one example, but I'm sure there's others that actually could have worked, therefore could have brought in money rather than having to go to you to get the cash.
Yeah, I do share their frustration, but I also ask them to understand that, in these situations, we're just trying to remove any sort of potential confusion that may creep in to society in general. We need to be hard. We need to act with conviction ourselves. And that is, I think, the best way to deal with this. I think we also need to consider potentially in the future whether or not some of the way we've gone about it this time can be changed, as you've sort of alluded to. But we've gone in hard. We've been clear in our convictions that actually the very best way to clear this virus from the community is just simply to get everybody to, as much as possible, to stay at home, remove any potential for confusion, and that way, as we've seen, we can actually get people back to work pretty quickly.
And were you doing anything different? I'm thinking of the New Year's Eve case. At 10 o'clock in the morning it was known, but nothing released, of course, until quarter to midnight. The great old thing about going through all the processes, checks and balances, which people see as a valid answer, but others still mystified that wasn't alerted quicker for people to make the potential decisions themselves about going out on New Year's Eve. Did you have any thoughts on that?
As I said, Paul, I mean, that really will be a matter that we need to consider in terms of reviews. There's always a review going on in terms of the actions that we've undertaken. Like everybody else, communication is vital, but by the same token, at that particular time, the way the information came through, the time it came through, there was also a case, I think, from those on the ground at the time, so to speak, that they didn't want to cause mass panic. I mean, you could imagine a tweet going out at 9 o'clock on New Year's Eve when bars were full and packed and everybody pouring back out onto the street. It would have been chaos. So I think actually things were handled in a reasonable and sensible manner once you bring all the factors into play. But yeah, I mean, a speedy response is vital. I think we've acted in the right time frame. You do need to consider a number of factors in all these situations, and doubtless again the next time there will probably be a set of different circumstances to deal with. But yes, I'm happy with the way things have been communicated today, and I know it can be frustrating, and I know people often have lots of questions, but by the same token, not all of us, and me at times, can understand or see behind the scenes at that precise point, and we have to trust those individuals who are at the coalface, so to speak, who are dealing with the initial information coming through to make the right decisions.